Greetings, Sentinels fans! Let's chug along these variants and take a look at the ones from the Rook City and Infernal Relics expansions. Let's start off with Expatriate, and I have already gone over her at length in a video before, including the variants. But essentially there isn't much reason to need one variant over the other. For most normal heroes, her original power would be great, as I consider card plays to be generally more powerful than most power uses, on account of providing passive bonuses or single big use effects. Problem with Expatriate is that she doesn't have particularly powerful cards, nor is she really capable of drawing cards fast enough so you don't end up emptying your hand. Now her Dark Watch variant is not a huge improvement, but it is one that you will likely end up using every now and then. Now, a +1 to your attacks for a full round is okay, but it's not going to be the most effective use of your time, as a +1 to 1, maybe 2 attacks is not going to be as effective as simply shotgunning your main foe every time. You may end up using this power though if you're trying to punch through damage reduction, if you have methods of giving her extra power uses, or if you plan on using Unload on your next turn. It can be highly effective for your area attacks, but you don't always want them. Still, a power that you will use occasionally is better than a power that you likely won't use at all. But moving on to a power you will use a bit more often, we have Mr. Fixer. His base power alone is the most boring you will see. It's a simple damage dealing power, dealing only 1 point of damage. However, it's the combination with the rest of his deck that makes this exciting. His tools and styles affect every instance of damage he does. You can increase the attack power, have multiple attacks, give him irreducible damage, and steeply ramp up his assault. And moving from one variant to the other, he deals more damage, allowing for significantly crazier effects, but at the drawback of having to destroy another hero's buildup. Now I find this to be a fairly equal power to the base variant, but a bit harder to play. It's fun to play Bloody Knuckles and then blow it up with your power use, but you and your friends might not appreciate having Fixer blow up your stuff every turn. I don't much care, as the other heroes can usually set up faster than Fixer can destroy their stuff, but I do understand the players that don't really like having to compete with that. Though some heroes probably won't care nearly as much as others. Those with temporary ongoings, like Guys, won't be too heartbroken over them, as those ongoings were going to get destroyed anyways, and most heroes have cards they can afford to lose. Anyways, I don't have a preference between these two, though more people will prefer the original Fixer. Moving on to the Infernal Relics expansion, we have the last remaining member of the Dark Watch team, Night Mist. Our premier Eldritch Mage has her base version and her Dark Watch variant. Now her base version has her deal 2 damage to herself and draw 2 extra cards. This encourages a build with her focusing around the Amulet of the Elder Gods and /or the Star Shield necklace. Use the amulet for consistent damage or the shield for consistent healing. You do, however, have to deal with the element of randomness from her spells. Her Dark Watch variant works differently. This one peaks at the top 3 cards of her deck, and then she can replace them in any order. So instead of rapidly cycling through her deck, you are carefully looking at her next few cards, choosing one to draw at the end of your turn, and planning what you're going to do with your next cards. You will take a look at the spell points and make what use of them you may. Want to set up a perfect Oblivion with 4 and 1, or 4 and 4 if you're feeling mean? Then by all means set it up. You sacrifice speed for precision, knowing exactly what you will be getting with your next spell. This leads me to a build using Master of Magic and Tome of the Elder Gods, using the spells themselves to heal Night Mist, and if I really need more cards or more spells, the book has me covered. Now the base version is more popular, but I have to wonder if that is because it is what players get first, and thus they get used to the randomness of Night Mist's spells. Not only that, but the kind of randomness she uses is severity type, not effect type. So you can play her with the expectation of getting an effect with low severity, and thus you do still know what you're getting. Yeah, getting a 1 on your planar banishment can suck, especially if you really need her to clear out a lot of ongoing and environment cards. But you don't always need to get top tier efficiency from spells, so a method of predicting the efficiency is not always necessary. So while I don't think one version is more powerful than the other, I think the original is more fun. And now we have a member of the Prime Wardens, Argent Adapt. And as with all other members of the Prime Wardens, I have 4 variants to look through. He has Original, Prime Wardens, Extreme Prime Wardens, and the Kavoth 6-string / Crimson Conductor. I'll explain that last one when I get to it. Adapt's deck relies heavily on his music cards, most of them with 2 effects, a perform and an accompany. The melody cards though only have a perform. Adapt's original card can activate any single perform effect. Easy enough to get almost guaranteed access to an effect you can use. This power is pretty much eclipsed by any of the instruments, since they can get more than one effect out there, but it's a good start. Primordial's Adept is a huge step up in power though. One of Adept's issues is that he can only play so many cards in a turn, and he tends to need a lot of cards out in order to have an effective build. So his setup can be pretty slow. Well, this variant changes that. It takes the bottom card of Argent's deck and puts it into play, in addition to activating any one accompany effect. Sure, you only get access to the skills on your cards, but they can still be useful and powerful, and the extra card can get you set up that much faster. What's more, you know Arcane Cadence? It's a great card for setting Adept up, allowing you to look at the top 5 cards and placing them in different locations. One of those locations happens to be the bottom of your deck, so it is giving you even more control of what enters play if you are playing the Primordial's version. Third is the Extreme variant. This one has Argent not interacting with its songs. Instead, he can hit a target for 2 sonic damage, and if this target is a hero, that hero can play a card and use a power. So he can do a minor bit of damage to a bad guy, or perform his support duties without having to build up. However, as you could probably figure out, once he is built up and has instruments and songs out, they become better than the innate power. This is good for the start of the game, or after a setup wipe. Finally, we have the Crimson Conductor and Kavoth 6-string variants. I lump these together because, mechanically, in every way, they are the same. Same power, same hit points, same incapabilities. Why is this? Well, Argent Adapt is a visual reference to Kavoth, the main character in Patrick Rothfuss's Kingkiller Chronicle. They are different characters, of course, but they look similar. I guess Rothfuss got in contact with C&A, and they worked out a deal where they made a playable Argent Adapt variant that looked like Kavoth. All proceeds from the sale of that variant was donated to Heifer International. For a long time, the only way to get this variant was to donate, mostly because Rothfuss owns the copyright to the card. I am not sure if it's still possible to get your own copy, but you are able to use the card mechanically through the canonical Crimson Conductor variant. But if you are a hardcore collector, here's one to get. The power on Dark Conductor allows them to peek at the card of any 2 decks and put one in play and the other in the trash. This is also good for setting up your heroes, but is less reliable than other ways of doing so. I do, however, enjoy selecting the villain deck as one of the ones I'm targeting, just so I can dump one of their cards. I'm like, ha ha ha. Hey, I didn't tell you to go fetch? Get back here. Anyways, of these 4, Primordial's Adept is clearly the most powerful of them, though if he is the most fun is up to you. Me, it's a toss-up between OG or the Heavy Metal Remix. Give me the card. Give me the card, chomps. Thank you. So this has been another look at the variants of Sentinels. I hope you have enjoyed this video. See you next time. Take care, friends. Stupid bird. Our premier Eldritch. Now her base version has her deal herself 20. Yeah, that's good. That's not good. So instead of rapidly, extreme. The problem is the HUD on the camera is blocking my view. Ha ha ha. Fuck. Huh? Okay, that took way too many takes.